Support for this show is brought to you by novel Till the Bitter Endemic. What if there was a happy ending to a pandemic? Perhaps an unexpected love story. After Daisy gets thrust into mandatory quarantine for an infection she can't explain, it's up to her to unravel the truth as to what's behind it and what she can ultimately do to escape it. But she can't do this alone, and that's where she finds not only herself, but a very special person that opens their heart for the betterment of their survival. Find out how in Till the Bitter Endemic. Available now on Amazon in all major formats.
Greetings and salutations, all you beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of Art of the Beholder, a show dedicated to all things eclectic in the world of art. I'm your host, Novo and today we're going to be talking about art and, well, everything, chronicling our thoughts on the best of what 2024 had to offer. It's our best of 2024 show. It is here. Guys, we're so ready to give you all the deets, but first, let's introduce our guest. Once again, joining us is Mr. Philip Church, philipchurch.com. Welcome back, sir.
I never left.
He's been here for 20 years. That's probably a hint to one of my gaming best of items, but
if you get that Easter egg, you win.
If you get that, you're our fucking people.
You're our top fan, and I will send you something
people.
in the mail.
I have another joke where I'm going to say that. So put a pin in that. I have a joke in the best in music of 2024 where I'm going to just throw a bomb of a joke. And if you get it, you're our people.
Now, is it bomb as in like, you know it's going to be bad?
More like what? it's gonna hit you.
Bomb it real bad, you guys. It's
gonna hit you out of nowhere. That kind of bomb. It's a surprise kamikaze of a joke where you're like, oh, I shouldn't say that. And I'm hyping it up too much. I should really say it's probably gonna be very subtle, honestly. And that is where if you do get it, you're our people. But before we get there, Philip, let's tell the good people the rules, okay? So if you're new, we try to do this with the rules. Now, in previous years, we do try our very best to pick one very best thing from a series of categories. So we're going to talk about the best in television, the best in film, the best in music, the best in gaming, all the stuff we love in pop culture. The more, top 40 kind of shit, but also the deep cut stuff as well. So we give it all equal opportunity, and we do try our very best to try to pick one, and that's what we're going to do. But this year was so fucking hard, guys. So I already know that there's going to be ones that I'm like, it's kind of the best like of this week, but it's I have some others that I want to tell you about, especially like in the music category.
Funny enough, while I'm glad you said this overall, I actually weirdly only had one in the music category.
Oh my God, I'm so happy. We're gonna be two sides of the same coin.
I was gonna say we're gonna do the same shit we always wind up doing on fucking accident somehow.
No, it's perfect. You're a perfect co-host because I have a feeling on the stuff where I only have one or two, you're gonna have like 8. And I'm going to be like, okay, good. You talk a lot for a while. Now fill up this airtime because in the music part, that's fucking.
Did someone say, Philip, talk a lot for a while? Ooh, okay.
Does some air shit in the woods?
We begin. It is 20 years ago. We are in the forest. No, I'm not.
Before we get into the nit and gritty, guys, we have to give the disclaimer we give every single year. And that is this. Guys, before you get your panties in a bunch, I'm looking at you, YouTube commenters, about like, no, this is better and that's better. Of course, this is just our opinion. How can they think that? It's just our opinion. So just relax. You make a fucking show and then you can have a top tier list if you want. But we got to just give this now before you get all riled up. But we have to say, with that being said, guys, we're right. I mean, like, there's a lot of fucking
top jobs.
There's like, Watch Mojo and shit. That's all they do is lists. But, we're like top tier. It's our third year doing this, Philip. So at this point, we're practically the word of God.
Yeah. I mean, 3 times the charm. We have yet to be wrong. That's the thing is I've yet to see anybody actually ever come back and prove me wrong on any of this. So, don't try. I'm not
It's
saying try,
hard
but
being
just it's
right
because you can't.
all the time. The definitive word of the internet
Heavy-
is a hard job.
Heavy is the microphone that is near my crowned head, so shut up.
We don't like to brag, but we are your favorite artist's favorite artist, favorite artist. Yes, even Chappelle Rowan likes us.
Does she like anybody?
If you Google Chappelle Rowan,
Also, is it Chappelle?
how do you pronounce it?
I just don't know if it's a sh or a ch.
Chappelle?
Chappelle?
I thought it was
Chappelle?
Chappelle? It's not Chappelle. Come
It's
on.
not Chappelle. I don't
It's
know.
Chappelle. It's
Is
Chappelle
it?
Rowan. It's what's great is if you like Google Miss Rowan, whatever, potato, Chappelle.
I won't argue the
Chappelle
last
Rowan.
name. It's Rowan.
What if you Google that? It'll say, "Did you mean your favorite artist's favorite artist?" So that's where that fucking comes from, because even Chappelle Rowan likes us. So that's a 3-layer dip of favorite artists.
CR. Thanks, baby. We love you.
So, guys, there's a lot to talk about. We can't wait to get into every little tiny category and give you the deets. But first, we're going to take a little break. Stay with us.
Are you ready to elevate your style and make a lasting impression in fashion? Ready for change? To find the best you? Whether it's creating stunning designs or crafting the perfect wardrobe, AP Design is here to transform your vision into reality. From everything from sustainable goods to personal consulting, Alexandra Parsons of AP Design aims to bring innovation and elegance to your every project. So let her help you stand out with ideas that are bold, timeless, and uniquely yours. To get started, you can go straight to her shop with the link below in the show notes, or you can book a consultation at alexandra-parsons.com and let your new life start today. That's Alexandra, Alexandra-Parsons, Parsons.com. Because great design isn't just seen, it's felt. The best way to say thank you and to support us is by donating to the cause. In doing so, you'll be able to help us help fellow artists, creatives, and colleagues, promoting their work, the community as a whole, and why we got into this line of work to begin with, to not only make art, but also shine a light on our peers and the gems of the world. For all the hidden ones and the not-so-hidden that make life worth living, because if we can make things even a little bit better, it'll all be worth it. But we can't do this without you. So please, donate today. And remember, even a little goes a long way to build new bridges, new worlds, and new opportunities. Link and details on how can be found in the show notes below. Because together, we can do anything. And now back to the show.
And we are back, Philip, to do the damn thing. I like saying that when we're back.
Again, I never left.
For the promos, I
don't know
to
where
say,
you went, dude. I just
the
literally
damn thing.
You left me in this weird liminal space. I've been there the whole fucking time.
Guys, again, we're going to try to do our very best to pick what we think is the number one best. You know, by definition, there should really only be one thing if it's the best. So we're going to do our best to do that per category. Just to give you the rundown, we're going to talk about the best in seasonal television, best in limited series in television, streaming, or anthology, best in film, best in music, best in writing, best in gaming, best in animation, and of course, what we call the best in miscellaneous category. So it could be traditional art, photography, some sort of multimedia, some sort of combination of shit. And then we'll probably do what we always do is if we have a bunch of gems that we didn't get a topical show, we didn't give it a home, we're probably going to put it right there. It's kind of like a gym roundup, if you will.
What's that? Like we're panning or sifting through or whatever. What's it called?
I have a lot of gems. I'm going to warn you right now, Philip. Part of the reason my music one is going to be longer is I have a lot of gems in the music category, but I just lumped them all together because they're just excellent. So it's going to be a list that's a combination of honorable mentions, but also gems, and I'm not going to tell you which is which. So guys, let's talk about best in seasonal television. And before we do that, I want to remind Philip, it's not a season of the year. So it's not spring or winter or fall.
I picked a fucking Easter show. Are you serious?
It's not literal seasons. It's seasonal television. Like, you know what? I'm going to start here first and we'll go back and forth. We'll rotate. Okay. Don't worry. I'm not going to always start. Don't get mad. I see your face. Calm down. You're beet red. All right. Take a chill pill. And I'm going to start here because I only have two. My best in seasonal television, guys, is Number one, it's got to be Hacks on HBO Max or just Max.
I need to watch that one.
It's so fucking good.
I've heard it's so good.
So good. A close second, though, I will have to say, and we did a show on this in 2024 with a brand new guest who is a chef, The Bear. FX Hulu's The Bear is a close second. It could
Also,
have been easily. Oh, dude, you're missing out.
I feel like there's a small chance.
A lot of artistic integrity.
I feel like there's almost a chance that you could guess what mine might have been.
Ooh. Give me a hint, though. Give me a little hint.
I'm almost positive we've discussed at least the first season on this show before, and not to mention, I think the first season of this HBO show is one of the finest pieces of non-movie to ever grace a screen. It literally ever.
Ooh, what a setup! I don't know. Wait, is it animated or is it? Or are you waiting for the actual animation category?
It is a live. I saved animation for the animation.
I don't know. Tell me. I'm gonna go. Oh, was
True
that
Detective
one?
Night Country.
Really?
I after maybe it's just the fact that after the turds that were the second and third seasons,
Turd Ferguson.
Which, actually, to be fair to 3, nothing could be bad as bad as 2. And to be fair to 2, how do you follow season 1 of that fucking show? Season 1 of True Detective was one of the best things, and I love spooky shit.
Before you were a regular, we did an entire show. Our 8th show ever was on True Detective season 1.
That's what I was saying. Is like I'm pretty sure I wasn't involved, but I was like, I'm almost positive I remember seeing Art of the Beholder, True Detective.
So let's get back to you, Philip. So True Detective, Night Country. Tell us why. Because I feel like that's kind of controversial. I feel like a lot of people, the YouTube commenters, fuck them, are like groaning right now. They're like, oh, that's not good. The first season,
well, I mean, okay.
So give us the argument. Give us the why.
So I already like things that take place in like up in the Arctic Circle type of stuff where there's like all that night stuff. So again, like that already gripped me before the show even came out. Actually genuinely liked yes, Jodie Foster is very recognizable, but yet I genuinely believe in her that when she commits to like a role that she's like, I think she's a very choosy actress, and I feel like she actually is pretty good at choosing. So I liked her, and that otherwise like cast was pretty good, and I like that it wasn't like big, like I wasn't looking at fucking Vince Vaughn, for instance. You know, like you got away with it in season 1 because the show was so new and it was so good that you could look past the fact that it was McConaughey, because that wasn't just him being McConaughey, that was him being Rust. That's kind of how this felt again to me finally. And then the aspects of, again, like creepiness, like in the dark, is there a supernatural touch to it? And the fact that it wasn't too many episodes, it really feels like they learned a lot of lessons after the weird, somewhat fall from grace that was the between seasons 1 and 2.
You know, I wonder. You know, I feel like I'm hearing the YouTube or the X or the whoever critics rumbling again, because technically, True Detective is an anthology series since every story is different from season to season. So this actually may be a limited series. So I think we messed up again.
No. Don't feed them. We're not wrong.
We're not wrong. They're wrong.
You're wrong.
So then I want to hear. Well, then I want you to start number 2, because I have a weird feeling that we may actually have the same one.
There's a good chance.
Because guys, what we do every year is we try not to show each other what we pick so we can riff on air. So what is your best limited series?
We're like the podcast version of being like, you hang up first. Like, you hang up first. And like, we both kind of know what the other one's thinking, but we also never know what we're actually going to do. And that too. It's just cute.
So
I actually went with Baby Reindeer.
Oh, okay. You know what? You did pitch that as a show. And
I think
didn't
it was
get a
at
chance
least a gem.
It was definitely a gem.
This is not the first gem that I'm going to consider one of the best.
I really need to see that, because it sounds like
it was
we
fucking
need to do a deep
fantastic,
dive.
Man. It was.
We need to do a long form topical deep dive.
Yeah.
Like talk about the characters, talk about the themes, talk about the arcs. It was that good.
It legitimately, I don't know what I did expect, but it wasn't that. And it continued to buck expectations with every new episode. Baby Reindeer was very feet on the ground, incredibly tangible. It felt like you might know this person, the people in it. It was just fantastic, regardless of whether it's true or not. It just happens to also be true. Of course, there's going to be embellishments. I mean, it was turned into a TV show, so yeah. It was gripping. So that's mine, Baby Reindeer. Go watch it.
Baby Reindeer. Mine was Shogun.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, you did a really good little synopsis on Baby Reindeer, so I'm going to try to do one on Shogun.
Do
I
it.
mean, from the wardrobe to the incredible amount of dialogue, and remember, a lot of the dialogue was being translated in show by another character, so I've never seen so much tension and so much drama from just translating. Like, they were able to do a level of drama that we don't normally see, with, again, this being a period piece too, so flawlessly. And so, half the show is in different languages, and you're still captivated by people that aren't even speaking the same language. But we also get the actual more intimate forms of drama and intimate forms of intimacy too. There's a lot of both sides of the spectrum there.
Ew.
And of course we get actual action with and warring, fewing warlords and other people from this era and time. And so I can't it's killing it with all the awards and stuff like that. I can't recommend it enough, and it deserves all the praise, love, and awards that it's getting. That brings us to Best in Film. I'm going to start this one as we're going back and forth, and I have a feeling we're going to overlap a little bit, but not all.
Maybe do we just say it on the count of 3?
No,
Damn.
because I will premise it with this. This was another great year for horror. So a lot of I would say my again, I'm trying to say, this is, if I had to pick a number one from these options, because this is where we're already kind of breaking our own rules. I'll fucking sue us.
There's rules?
Show. Sue us, it's our show. Tough titties. My best, probably, I don't know. A lot of these, depending on my mood, could like change slots.
I have 3.
So it's no particular order really, but a close number one would probably be Dune Part 2.
You son of a... That's why we should have said it at the same time. It would have been so cute.
Was yours really Dune Part 2?
It is really Dune Part 2.
Oh, man, we should have...
And then my close 2 are, one is pretty direct horror, action horror, and then
why don't we do a fake like edit? Like I'll just say I'll definitely edit it this way, but we'll let's say our favorite films on the count of 3 and surprise each other. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Dune Part 2. Dude, what?
Oh my God.
Get out of here.
That's why we do it. It's like we're co-hosts or something on an art appreciation show. Yeah, weird. My close seconds, thirds, and so on is Heretic, excellent. Strange Darling,
I need to see that.
Give me more of this kind of shit. The Substance, we literally did a long topical deep dive on this film. Late Night with the Devil, and then a true honorable mention that really isn't top tier, but I thought it was really good just because the story's been done so many times, is Alien Romulus.
That was in mine too.
All right, give me the deets then. So we already did Dune Part 2 like a fucking rom-com over here.
Right.
Now I already know Alien Romulus, so what's number 3?
So as far as horror comedy-ish goes, and feeling genuinely feeling like, and I'll tell you this, it grew on me when in the first 15 minutes of the movie, I genuinely was like, I've made a mistake. By the end of it, I was like, this feels like Tim Burton's forgotten like yesteryear movie or something. Lisa Frankenstein.
Really? I remember reading about this, but it kind of drifted.
I
like
genuinely
got lost.
Wound up liking it so much by the end, and it even lingered in my brain afterwards. And one of the weirdest things about it is that it's directed by Robin Williams' daughter Zelda.
Named
and then another
video game character.
And then lastly, yeah, exactly. And then last for me is an actual horror. Ooh. That again, if I hadn't, basically, it was funny enough. One night when I was choosing movies, it was either this or Late Night with the Devil, and I chose this. So hey, we get more coverage, and you're welcome. Movie Oddity.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Didn't I tell you to watch Oddity? Weren't we doing that show together? Well, I don't know. You said it was on your list, and I said, I finally watched Oddity. It was a gem. And I was like, I finally watched, me and Del Rio watched Oddity. It was great. And you're like, oh, fuck, it's on my list. So you finally saw it, and it was okay. It was top of the year for you. I felt like it was a little Tales from the Crypt kind of level of filmmaking.
I'm a cheeseball. I really enjoyed. Okay. I thought the house was a fantastic set piece. While the plot
I agree
was
with you.
Mildly predictable, just the between the house and that fucking statue,
it was a master class in tension.
It like they weren't going for reinventing the wheel necessarily. And
True.
like it didn't take that long of watching it before you could kind of go, I wonder if
this is going to happen.
I wonder if I know who it was. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that doesn't always matter because it's about the journey, you know? It's about the journey.
The journey was really good. Yeah.
So I liked the weird pseudo Tarantino-y like thing in the middle where I was like, there's no way he just walked away and did that. And then I was like, oh, okay. And then they did like a brief flashback and reminded you, and then they sort of Tarantino. Like there was just some interesting tricks and overall just good direction. I appreciated that the actress played two characters, etc. I genuinely enjoyed it a lot. I don't know if you heard that weird noise that my teeth made.
I don't know. I'll edit it out.
Yeah.
Or keep it in. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it adds to
it's like the very, very natural and real statement of Dune Part 2 at the same time. That was could
not have been more organic.
So organic.
101%.
Organic. And that brings us to best in music. Philip, you have the floor because I have way too many.
Okay, good, because I have one, and it's Childish Gambino's Bando Stone in the New World.
Oh my God, okay.
Once again, a gem, but Jesus.
Yep. But okay, this is the best. Man, okay.
I listened to that.
You know what I love about your best of choices year after year? Is
shit. I'm kidding.
No, it's like, it's truly yours. It's truly you. Like, I feel like mine kind of overlaps with a lot of other kind of lists and tiers and Watch Mojo. I don't know why I keep bringing them up.
Right? Somebody's been watching a lot of Watch Mojo.
I mean, I do like their lists, but that also makes me think of like, what basis do these lists truly have? Like, we're doing it now, like, so it's at the end of the day, it's everyone's opinion about that.
We don't have any like big corporate bucks flowing into our pockets, so that's I guess
true.
That's part of the feel. But yeah, I've been a Childish Gambino fan. Yeah, not quite since the first. I remember the first single. I still remember the big song from the first album, but I didn't actually listen to his first album. But because the internet came out, that album like changed my life.
Yeah,
and I've just loved him ever since. And the different albums like Rise My Love and all that stuff, like they were good. I love that he also continues to just do his own thing. He has clear reverence for certain big influential people from pop culture throughout decades, and then more niche people throughout the music scene for decades. And just him exploring different aspects of whatever, like his culture and everything. And it's as evident as it is, it's still 100% just, you can tell he loves making music. Is probably the full-on album besides maybe, I remember listening to, there was a band that I listened to probably about as much, but I did more like their Spotify, like this is that band, this is this album, like this is that band, whatever kind of thing. I listened to their big, like, hey, here's their everything playlist a lot, but this actual album I listened to from like top to bottom. Damn. I couldn't stop. As many things as other people were like, hey, check this out. Like, oh, listen to this. Like other people, oh, this is my favorite band released a new album too. That nothing really took me away from this until I genuinely was like, I think 50's enough.
Mine is I don't give it a numerical value, but like, I mean,
that was a quantity. I listened to that album probably 50 times.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, like
I was just making sure.
Mine is when I can't seem to put it down for like a month-ish or two straight. Like I may venture to something else, but I always gravitate back to that album. That's when I know, oh man, this is probably the best of, in my eyes, the best of, this year, or this music or this medium or whatever. When I can't put it down, especially musically, I keep going back to it. That is my telltale sign. So I have a lot. Again, let me premise this by saying I do have a kind of a standout number one. So I'll start there. But the rest of them are either honorable mentions or just gems that, instead of like leaving it after the miscellaneous section and doing a gem roundup, we're already talking music, so I'm just going to add them in here. And I want you to, I'm not going to tell you which is which, because I want you, Philip, specifically you and everyone listening, I'm looking at you, Riles, to really take the time to listen to these albums and try to see why it's so beloved by not only myself but
I have
the
to
world
write
over.
Shit down.
I know, it's like the Frank Zappa show, right?
Dude, Zappa made it into my Spotify Wrapped, and I was pissed.
It was like so much homework for poor Philip, but I'm glad we did it.
I'm not over it. I had almost forgotten about that.
I feel like we learned a lot, though. Like I was like, oh wow, like I didn't realize how much he inspired, you know. But guys, don't worry, we're not going to bore you to tears with that because none of Frank Zappa is on the best of 2024 for obvious reasons. I'm going to start with Nilufer Yanya. Miss Yanya, if you're listening, I know you're a big fan of the show. You know, you can come on the show. We can talk music because I love your album. The album is called My Method Actor, and it is everything that's wonderful about dream pop, but also has touches of world and even a little bit of industrial music because she plays guitar and she likes to put, you know, she likes to hit those pedals, give it a little grind. And there's a lot going on in this album, and I think it is absolutely wonderful, spellbinding. Again, like I just said to you a minute ago, I keep going back to it over and over and over again.
I'm not even going to try to spell her actual name. What was the album?
The album is My Method Actor.
My Method.
And this is what I texted T-Buck to check this album out not too long ago, and I premised it with this.
I would have spelled the Yanya part.
I gave him a disclaimer. I say, don't let the cover art fool you. Don't let it deceive you. Because when I looked at the cover art, I judged a book by its cover.
That.
Yeah, I judged a book by its cover, and I was like, oh, this is going to be fucking like Beyonce.
This was suggested to me at one point.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like regular top 40 kind of pop that we make fun of on the show a lot. It's not. It's dream pop with touches of like really avant-garde, weird, very progressive, very experimental choices.
I think that
and
genuinely
it's covered up
you
by a lot
my
of things.
algo god. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably my close number one. But granted, the rest of these could have been easily number one, you know, depending on where I was at in my life and my mood and my, you know, because 2024 was a bit of a hard one. So I can't wait to say goodbye to you, 2024, and look forward to 2025. Before we do, let me give you the other ones. And here they are. The Smile, Cutouts, Nubya Garcia, Odyssey, Lupe Fiasco, Samurai, Mannequin Pussy, love that fucking band name. Mannequin Pussy's I Got Heaven, Los Compesinos, All Hell, The Cure, yeah, that The Cure, Songs of a Lost World, crazy metal concept album from Blood Incantation, again, great name, is Absolute Elsewhere, Mdou Moctar's Funeral for Justice, Brittany Howard's What Now, and just recently I listened to Opeth's The Last Will and Testament by singer-songwriter Toki Wartooth. And if you get that joke, again, you're our kind of people. And I did want to give...
If they get that joke, they probably play Grandpa's guitars.
And they saw our virtual band show. Toki Wartooth is based off of him. And I did want to give some... I want to give some special love to something that was brought to my attention with my Spotify Wrapped, which was a band that technically, you know, we're going to do this a little bit on this show today too. So not everything is literally from 2024. Some of the stuff is just, we probably got into it in 2024. I definitely will warn you, my books are that way. You know, best in writing, the novels I read this year. So, you know, this is some of the stuff that I fell in love with in 2024, and you may not know it yourself yet. So that's why I want to give it a lot more love and spotlight. So there was an album that did come out in 2023, but I didn't get into it till like the end of 2023, and I didn't fall in love with it until like the beginning of 2024. And it's just three initials. It's a.s.o, like A period, S period, O period.
Atlanta Symphony Orchestra. I love them.
No, I wish it was that simple. No, it's a trip hop duo from, I believe, Berlin. They're so mysterious. And a.s.o, this is their literal debut album. So the album is called a.s.o. And guys, I really wish I got into them more in 2023 so I could have given that as my best of. And I think I gave Romy's Mid-Air best of, and she deserved a lot of love last year too. But a.s.o, guys, fuck me, this is so good. Not a misplaced note in the whole fucking album. That kind of excellent, that kind of perfect 10 out of 10.
Well, shit.
So yeah. So check it out.
So he's you heard the guy. He's okay. You know, it's okay. It's all right. You heard the man.
Let's just say like my top 5 songs were just songs from this album. and I listened to like
Nova, quit pussyfooting around and tell us what you think.
tell us which one you like.
God, dude.
I
don't have so much time.
I'm shy. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm shy. Oh. So, guys, that wraps up our best in music. Please, this has been kind of a music year. We've probably covered more music this year than we've covered any other topic. So, please, we do want to touch base with you guys and connect. So, let us know what you think was the best in the comments below. Definitely music. There's probably no into that bottom list that I can take from the world. So like if there's anything that we miss, please let us know. That leads us to best in writing, and how we do this one. It can be writing for a film, so like a screenplay, TV, traditional writing like literature, novels, graphic novels, etc. So this is kind of our favorite thing from 2024, or like I said, I did give the disclaimer in the music section, something that maybe we just got into, consumed in 2024, and we want to give it to you guys so you guys get into it too.
I had very little. I did not read new stuff necessarily as far as writing goes.
That's okay. I just gave the disclaimer.
And then because of I don't want to take away from anything, that I don't want to just mention the same things. So technically, by being one of the best in film, and the fact that the film itself was already based on a book, I'm not going to say shit like Dune again. I'm actually going to go.
You can say Dune though.
I could, but I'm not going to. I'm going back to my roots some.
Del Rio loves Dune.
We own as well. Many people should.
Dune books in this household.
Well, you know what? Somebody had to Dune it.
Nice.
Yeah. I apologize for nothing.
If you get that, then you're our people.
Hey. No, I am going back to my roots, and I'm going to go with Chip Zdarsky as writer on Batman Failsafe.
Okay.
It was...
Give us the deets.
It's not exactly a full prequel, because I hate how often things, and especially comics, get retconned all the fucking time. But this is a fun sort of throwback, in a way, to an age of more like the fun late 80s and early 90s, when things just really started going buck fucking wild. And it's kind of like, what if Batman had designed his own worst enemy slash like... It literally, I mean, it's called Failsafe. He basically made a robot that is practically unstoppable and knows everything that he would do. And somebody triggered it to like awaken and come after him. And so not only is it just fun seeing Batman be like, fuck, I literally made this thing to be perfect so that it can kill me because I killed somebody. It's basically, if Batman ever kills, this robot will wake up and kill him just so that he doesn't become unstoppable, because he's arrogant as fuck.
So is this graphic novel
It
form?
is. It's in graphic novel form. Technically, the story was written a few years ago, but this is the collection that was published this year. And another reason why it was my favorite is that, at least when it comes to graphic novels, it's obviously important as fuck, the graphic part of it. The artist, Jorge Jimenez, is explosive and dynamic and detailed and so fucking talented. So between liking this author, he wrote some other favorite books of mine from the past. I don't know if I've ever talked about the book Sex Criminals, but holy shit, go read that too. Chip Zdarsky's Sex Criminals is fan-fucking-tastic. But yeah, Batman Failsafe. So Chip Zdarsky got his hands on the Batman franchise and wrote a dope story. And it led to all kinds of wonky shit too, where Batman is sort of reality displaced for a little bit even.
Interesting.
He comes back from outer space this time, you guys. He literally goes to a moon base.
Batman in space.
He goes to a moon base and then still is like, well, fuck me, the robot knew I would do this. Of course he did. And he has to figure out, like, how do I make it into the atmosphere and back to the planet Earth without dying? So it's just extreme as shit. It's balls to the wall, very high action, very fast paced. It's got all the Nightwing, all the various Robins, some other favorites, Superman, I believe. It was a fun time. I read it a couple times before I was just like, I should put this on the shelf and do other things with my life.
I understand exactly. I think we can all relate to that sentiment.
But as far as things that are relatively new, that's like the only thing that I fully finished that wasn't work.
I understand also completely. I have been trying to read more, not just for the show, but in general. I read a couple of novels this year that definitely are not new to 2024, but new to me, and will definitely be new to a lot of you. So one that really stood out to me is a novel called This Is How You Lose the Time War. Now, I'm gonna sell it to you right now, Philip. So imagine this kind of synopsis. Here's the basic premise. There's two warring factions in the whole universe. Okay. Two of the best factions the world or the universe has ever known, and they're warring over supremacy. Now, they both have two top agents, top assassins that can travel through time to compete against each other to get an upper hand on the war to eventually beat the other faction. Until there's one day that they decide to start writing each other to create a relationship. First, what starts in basic letters about kind of telling the other person off soon turns intimate. But you never know if the feelings that are developing, possible friendship, possible more, is truly pure or absolute deceitfulness to win the war. Yes.
I'm intrigued.
Now, this one is particularly interesting because it was written by two authors, and they both take on the role of one of the assassins.
Interesting.
So this is how you lose the time war. So they'll travel through different times, do something to get the upper hand in the war, and then leave a note for the assassin. And they learn stuff about how to do things in, you wouldn't call it the future because they can travel anywhere in time.
Right.
It's that kind of a science fiction. So they can go way, way into the like extreme distant past, like close to the Big Bang or close to the end of the universe itself, and anywhere in the middle. And so you see all of these time jumps and all of these strange inner workings of how they play off each other. And you don't know until the very end if it's truly they write to each other, they start developing a relationship. It first starts as kind of like a friendly rivalry, I would call it, where it's like, great job, destroying that building in the last war, in the last battle, or something like that. And then they realize that they're both the best at what they do for their factions, that they start to appreciate the other person's work. And soon they start to admire each other. But again, you don't know if that admiration is pure or deceptive.
Damn.
I have an honorable mention too, and that is a novel called Piranesi. This one is a much more grounded piece of work, but it does deal with the occult and the concepts of, how should I put it, different worlds, portals that open a rift into different worlds, and what may happen if you could enter into them, things of that nature. So I'll leave it at that. But those are my two for best in writing for 2024. Now, I'm excited about best in gaming. That's our next next category, next medium we're going to talk about, because we usually either, there's no middle ground. Either we're right on the same page or we're absolutely other ends of the spectrum. And I think it's going to be that one. I think we are definitely on the other ends of the spectrum on this one, if I had to guess, with probably an overlap with one game.
I think it's going to be right in the middle. No, it's going to be fuck.
I'm going to, I'm going to guess on this one. I'm going to guess yours to start. Erdtree?
Nah.
The DLC? No?
I mean, as much as I thought about it, it felt kind of like a cheap, like a cop-out.
Because it's DLC. It's not a true finished game.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the fucking Game Awards this year are giving best of, like, they're giving their own categories to DLC. So what does that say, though, about the cultural landscape?
Circle jerk. What?
Talk about, like, businesses trying to sell their product. They're like, we'll give you more money if you put our DLC in the best of categories, too, like the nomination. Because we all know that award shows are its own kind of marketing, let's be honest. Though there are a lot of things that deserve awards, don't get me wrong. We want a fucking award for we're the best podcast in the entire fucking universe. We're better than the Hawk Tua girl. And we haven't gotten an award yet. So, guys, it's time. My best, I did have a hard number one with two honorable mentions. My hard number one was, honestly, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I fucking love that game. And I know you don't. So that's how I knew we were on other ends of the spectrum.
I actually haven't played that one yet. Yeah.
Exactly. There you go. My close seconds and thirds, so more honorable mentions. I would say these are close seconds and thirds. Is Silent Hill 2 remake and Astrobot.
If you've been paying attention and you also haven't,
I have not.
I mean, I would hope so. You were there for the show. If you haven't caught on, I'm always, some of the shows are my idea. That much is true.
We are very professional. We have pitch meetings.
We have pitch meetings.
Tell the people we're professional.
And then a lot of times when Novo 8 times out of 10 ultimately tells me no.
No.
Genuinely
we have to tweak things.
No, I know.
Sometimes.
Yeah. No, we got to talk about good stuff that has enough depth to it. And then so a lot of times
meat.
Whether it was a last minute find in the meantime or it was a pitch and I just decided to bring it up as a gem. I've been bringing up a lot of my gems so far, and I'm sticking to my guns. Plucky Squire.
Yes. Okay, we are guys. We're gonna have a segment, probably an after hours, maybe long form topical
called Philip is right.
But in the meantime, Philip, give him a little taste. Give him a little after hours taste.
This game blends so many different styles of the classics that you know and love from just the history and the best of games of all time. And it does it with such love. It does it with such aplomb. It is fantastically blended together in a wonderfully creative manner in a wholly original story. So it's got this wonderful magical blend of things, all while maintaining a completely just quirky, like dependable attitude, very upbeat, and just the seamlessness with which it goes between like 2D top down, like not exactly isometric, but like literally top down, like Zelda
2.5.
Yeah, 2 to 2.5. Because there's straight up, there's 2D, there's 2.5, there's 3D. It's all in there. And then there's the fact that a lot of the different quote unquote bosses or the sort of like hurdles, if you will, some of the bigger parts, the action pieces of the game, when it's not puzzle solving to an extent, are also even more just homages. It's brilliant. It's so brilliant. And even all the way down to the narrator, the sole voice actor to an extent, basically. There's a couple of other characters who kind of have like, like video game voices to it. They're just like, haha, like they just do shit. But like the actual narrator, I love that his delivery is spot on. They just could not have done a better job. It was a fucking 10 out of 10, and it just was. And part of it's like snuck under the radar. I think it was like a free PS Plus game or something one month, and I'm so glad that I was told to get it because it was beautiful. My other toppies are. As everyone knows, I like spooky. Yeah, I like toppings. A spooky shit. Silent Hill 2, of course, duh, because that's.
I knew we'd overlap there.
Exactly. We knew it was. We knew it was coming.
Yeah.
This whole show has just been a 3-year rom-com in the making, you guys. But then
Dune
also
Part 2. Oh, I'm sorry.
Dune Part 2.
Dune Part 2.
Another one that came out very recently, but has genuinely also kind of stolen my heart in the way that it is a blend of fantastic shit, is Nine Souls.
Ooh, I'm not familiar. Tell us about that. So
it is essentially a Metroidvania blended with Sekiro.
I love me some Metroidvania. Oh, okay. So it's hard as fucking balls.
To interestingly like take it into the similar direction of the fact that Sekiro was at least an actual period piece and very like legitimately Japanese and not just purely fictional.
So get your anxiety medicine out, right? You're going to die a lot.
Right. So while it is difficult, but this has a really fun play on Chinese history and lore to an extent, as far as like at least the names and the art style and stuff go. So really fun Metroidvania, going around, you get new powers. Oh, I can get to this place now. The story is pretty interesting and involving in that there's a lot of fun mystery. I haven't even finished it because it's fucking difficult and I have a life and like a child and stuff. So it's been gripping so far and I've really enjoyed it. It came out very recently and I've been looking forward to it because I remember hearing about it a long time ago. So I'm stoked that it's finally out. It made it into the end of 2024. The fact that I finally got my hands on it and played it, it's up there for me. So if you're a Metroidvania fan, get this one in. It's Hollow Knight meets Sekiro, but with like a Chinese kind of undercurrent.
Guys, check it out. And that brings us to sometimes kind of a hard category. I have a feeling you're going to have no problem here. So we'll start with you, Philip. So best in animation 2024.
I kind of have two, in a way. One
Okay.
of which I just discovered not long ago, and it just really tickled me because of the gigantic dork that I am. It's a kind of a riff on Dungeons and Dragons type of stuff. It's called Dungeon Soup. It is the, like, what if you could min-max a character and then write ridiculous spoofs of like a D&D? Like, what if a modern person, not somebody trying to speak in, like, ye old English or whatever, or trying to roleplay too hard, it's part of it is
Ye
literally
old English.
Yeah, so it really cracked me up. It's just a YouTube channel, genuinely, but the guy who does it, I feel like it has at least the voice acting cast at least is a couple of people, but as far as I can tell, it's literally just one guy, and it's like his funny love letter to like D&D. So I really got a kick out of that. But as far as like proper like shows go that everybody could also like go if you happen to have HBO Max, I have not seen very much of it because, again, don't have much of a life. But Scavenger's Reign on HBO is it looks fucking cool, and it seems very promising. And from what I've heard from other people, and the fact that it apparently won an Emmy, I feel like it's going to be really fucking cool. So I'm looking forward to finishing it. So I at least want to mention that, because from what I at least have managed to see of sitting down and being like, I need to watch this, I was like, yeah, I get the hype, but I need to finish it myself. I'll be perfectly honest. But Scavenger's Reign on HBO looks fucking amazing. For what is yet to come for me.
Scavenger's Reign is mine.
Get the fuck out of here.
Nope. I will stay right here, sir. Because
No, I'm
again,
the captain now.
I'm the captain now. Scavenger's Reign is definitely mine because, again, guys, this isn't. It was released in like 2023 on Max, and then got to Netflix and some other platforms, and I didn't get a chance to get into it till 2024. But it is everything I like and love in this kind of medium. It is the kind of science fiction that I kind of grew up with too. So I grew up with, Aeon Flux and the Max, and does that MTV kind of block of animation that was like on at 1:00 in the morning, that was definitely animation, but not for children. I could tell even as a kid, I was like, this is not for me. And I love it more.
I'm in danger.
That's probably why that's about the same time I got into Akira and stuff like that. I would say it's, I liken it actually to what's, Scavenger's Reign is what happens when Akira and Princess Mononoke had a baby. That is Scavenger's Reign in a lot of ways.
I'm so glad that you genuinely, not just for the sake of like the weird running joke of us weirdly always being on the same page somehow.
Yeah.
But genuinely just because I really like, I'm excited to watch more of this show just whenever the fuck I can get my life in order.
Yeah, no, I mean, it really makes me feel like, and it of course, it makes perfect sense that if you haven't heard the news, even you, Philip, this actually got canceled. They're not going to make any more seasons. Yeah, it's because I think it was usually like this kind of animation and these kind of stories, right, are like so ahead of its time that I don't think they have the audience, like us. That's why we have this fucking show. So I'm like, maybe if we push it and then the kids start writing and start, DMing and shit, they'll bring it back. But yeah, as of right now, as the taping of the show, Scavenger's Reign was
I know what
canceled.
fucking hashtag I'm starting tonight.
So guys, if you like the stuff we like, you like Scavenger's Reign, give the love out, and because this has happened before, right? And we've heard of, I mean, this is the first example that pops in my head that is not Scavenger's Reign, but just an example of this happening is like Family Guy. Family Guy has been canceled like 3 times, and people still keep bringing it back from the grave because they fucking love Peter Griffin and fucking Stewie and shit. But like, it can come back is the point. We give it enough. We tell the people making these things that we want it. We say, okay, the audience is here. We want more of this thing. We'll support it, and I have a feeling this I don't know if this is I don't know if this is the end of Scavenger's Reign. I don't know if this is the end of the line. I have a feeling someone else is going to pick them up, but time will tell. Time will tell.
It's true.
Last on our list is kind of a roundup because obviously the first few tiers is kind of the holy pillars and trinities that is pop culture entertainment. And so now we're going to break it down in things that really don't have a home, don't have a home anywhere else, a category for all other categories or some sort of combination like multimedia. So best in miscellaneous. So this could be traditional art, photography, like I just said, multimedia. I have 3. So during the course of 2024, I had the pleasure of going to Boston's Museum of Fine Art. And man, I cannot recommend this fucking museum enough. This is probably one of the best museums I've ever been to, has some of the greatest works I've ever seen, and it's handled in such a very tasteful and incredible way. Like you can tell that this, they're not the kind of museum that's for profit. They're in it to win it for the needs of historical context. And man, it is just when all the cylinders, kind of shoot at the same time, and everything kind of lands perfectly for what a museum can be. We also, me and the missus, TV Del Rio, went to Montreal this year, and they have a basilica there, literally called the Notre Dame Basilica of Montreal. And you are literally walking through an art exhibition. I mean, from the outside, you are kind of not in awe of just the basilica from the architecture alone. It's designed much like the more famous Notre Dame. And but you go in, and from the floor to the architecture inside, the wood carvings, the statues, the paintings on the wall, literally everything you can see inside the basilica is just like this priceless piece of art. And you really feel, those moments where you feel in awe of something, like you don't have words for it. You're just in awe, like this is incredible. That's that kind of feeling when you step into a place like that. So check it out, guys. And I had the pleasure of going to Austin's Blanton Museum of Art. This is more of a smaller scaled one than Boston's, but really well done. It's like a university museum, and I loved every minute of it. I saw a little of everything. And this is the same weekend I went in Austin I went to Austin just to see one band with my brother and his friend, and that was the King Crimson tribute with Adrian Belew back on guitar singing, Danny Carey on drums, Steve Vai, and Tony Levin on bass. And it was an absolute dream team of a band, and I loved every minute of it. And I hope you guys had a chance to see that version of King Crimson, the touring version that came out this year, on the road. It was incredible.
There's literally is a show. I just, the entire premise, it's funny. It's by what used to be called College Humor, and because it's been out for the channel has been around for 12 plus years, they're like, we can't keep calling ourselves College Humor, guys. We're fucking adults now.
We're just humor.
Now there's called Dropout. And so one of the shows that they have on there now, and it's in its 3rd season, it's called Very Important People. And what they do is they pick somebody to be like, hey, we're going to make up an interview on the spot. But what the person doesn't know is who they're going to be. They go in and obviously you can't like do makeup necessarily with somebody blindfolded because you got to do their face. But they sit there and they keep their eyes closed. The costume and how the person is going to look is kind of pre-picked for them. And so these professional makeup and wardrobe people just dress the actor, comedian, whatever in this thing. And then they just improvise. That person then has a small amount of time to look at themselves and go, okay, this is my character. This is the character's backstory. They make up everything they can. And then they just go on to improvise an entire interview with the host of the show. So the host is the only constant. And her name is Vic Michaelis. And she's quite good and funny herself. The batshit stuff that they do with these other characters is very funny, but considering, it's not like I did a show about improv this year or anything. I like improv. It's great. So I really liked that show once I found it and watched what I could. And it's just fun that they're still making it. But yeah, the whole concept is very novel, in my opinion. I don't think there's anything else quite like it, to where it's already a fake interview, but it's a fake improvised interview as it is. but still like fully on camera, very high production quality and everything. So I think that's just what I've come to respect about it, is that they really seeing the interviews with the costume designers and stuff and the makeup people is what really, when I was just like, well, they genuinely give a shit, and you can kind of tell because these people look out of this world, out of this fucking reality. Sometimes it's amazing.
Guys, check it out. I'm
Very
gonna check
important
that out.
people
I'm
from
gonna
Dropout, but also just look it up on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out myself now. Guys, there you have it. The best of 2024. I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for staying with us. I want to thank, of course, my guest, Mr. Philip Church of philipchurch.com.
I have something extra fun to mention on top of my usual stuff.
So, into your surprises.
Yeah. Not only do I still have my same website, which is my first and last name. My first name has one L in it, so philipchurch.com. That is where you will find demos, samples, reviews of my past audiobooks and such. You can find me on Instagram. I think it's like Philip Church Provio Nerd. That's the thing. I'm not good at social media. It's basically just do the website. But speaking of social media, what you will find me on this was such a pleasure and an honor. Is that I was chosen by what Penguin Random House's audiobook thing is called Ahab. And I was chosen and just did an interview the other month for I am their voice of the month for December.
Hey, congratulations. That's awesome.
So
man.
I will have a couple of spots throughout this month. Yeah, so if you look at their social media page, you can already go ahead and catch up on the previous voices of the month, other incredibly talented actors, narrators, etc., as well as even some of the people that work there too, that tell you, like, oh, I'm a producer, this is what we look for, or this is what we, try to do through our work. I'm a casting agent, this, that, and the other. So it's just, they're already very dedicated to the craft. I really appreciate what Ahab does in being the sort of audio face of Penguin Random House. But yeah, I was really blown away that they picked me, and so I'll get a little bit of extra time out there on the interwebs and the social medias, so I'm excited for that to happen.
Guys, check that out as well. And of course, we want to give some love to our sponsors. Guys, thanks for sticking with us. We love you so much. The biggest shout out, of course, is Zencastr. Zencastr is our go-to tool for remote podcast recordings. And guys, if you like all that, don't forget to follow us at NovoDayProductions.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the things. You know what to do. And if you'd like to be on the show or sponsor us, you can always reach out to us at novodayproductions@gmail.com. Now, before we completely sign off and do our usual outro little number, I want to give a special note to all you guys listening. Just from the bottom of my heart, thank you. We have so much fun doing these shows. We love that you guys are loving it. So we're going to be back with a brand new season in 2025, and we're going to give you all the deets, all the love, all the deep dives on all the little things that we appreciate and we think you're going to love and appreciate as well. So until then, you know what to do. Be good to each other, and as always, good luck and Godspeed. We love you.
Art of the Beholder is brought to you by Novo Day Productions. Created by Novo Day and Theodore T. Buckingham. Written, directed, produced, and edited by Novo Day and the NDP Collective. Starring Philip Church of philipchurch.com. That's Philip with one L. Alexandra Parsons of alexandraparsons.com. ALEXANDRA-PARSONS.com. With special contributions by Theodore T. Buckingham. Music by A Company. Instagram handle A_CO_music_. Logo design by Tom Justice of thejusticecompany.com. JESTUS. Thank you again for listening. All rights reserved. Art of the Beholder is brought to you by Zencastr. Zencastr is our go-to tool for remote podcast recordings. What's great is that you can record separate audio and video tracks, and it's all backed up on a secured cloud, so you never lose your hard work. Even better, it's easy to use, and there's nothing to download. So go to Zencastr.com, Zencastr.com, and use promo code Art of the Beholder to get 30% off your first 3 months with a pro account.